on to our next keynote session, where we explore the potential good customer experience has in elevating citizen and fan experiences. As promised, delivering this keynote session would be none other than Mr. Ricardo Trade, Deputy Chief Executive Officer, FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. Mr. Trade currently serves as the Deputy Chief Executive Officer for the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022, where he's responsible for coordinating the operations, marketing, and commercial and event services functional areas for the event. He's also the CIES local coordinator of the FIFA CIES program, Brazil. He acts as the interface between CIES, the University in Brazil, FGV, and the program manager for the students and the teaching staff. Let's welcome him on stage with a huge round of applause, please.
Hello, my friend. Thank you very much. Thank you. Salam alaikum. It's a pleasure to be here with you today in Saudi. It's the first time for me here. Of course, as she said, I'm from Brazil. Sorry for my not perfect English. Just to talk about the World Cup here, the customer's experience during the World Cup. The best thing that I could say to you is that, as the guys here in the morning said, and I'm here learning, that to respect the local culture is one of the essence of customer's experience. We totally agree, and we did this, FIFA did this in Qatar. They respected the local culture. This is essential. Of course, we need to have, in any part of the world, persons from the local culture that lead the project. There we have Nasser, our CEO, doing this. And this is essential because he will lead all the conversations about to respect the local culture. This is essential. One important thing to say in the beginning. I was the CEO in Brazil World Cup in 2014. I went to Qatar 7 times in 2015 as a consultant, and the success there is based on the customer's experience. They are so good on this. They invested a lot on this. That's why I will show to you some parts of this. It's a long presentation, but I will try to speed up, because we have a lot of pictures on this. It's not a problem for us. We'll talk about the customer's experience for you during the World Cup in Qatar. But first of all, I will say some things about this here. This is normally where the money is. I'm talking about sports, not only other customers, but I'm talking about sports. The money is on the athletes. The athletes are the core. The teams of the world are the core. I think we need to move this, not, of course, to respect the athletes. They are the core. They continue to be the core. But we need to move this to the fans, to give them the opportunity, because they are the guys that will support this. They will watch the match on television. They will go to the stadium and spend money there. They will buy the tickets. And then we need to invert this. The funds are so important, and we need to respect this. Of course, one that everyone agrees on it, that without fans, professional sports would be meaningless. We don't have sports without the fans. They are very important. They are supporting, as I said, buying marketing rights with sponsors, because sponsors will buy because of the fans. Television rights will be sold because of the fans. Tickets will be sold because of the fans. We need to respect this. This is essential. And then the fan engagement, and to have the fans with us in about customers' experience, so important to say this, is that we will have loyalty from them. They will buy, they will continue to go there, they will continue to buy, and they will see the match, watch the match in television, and we need this. This is essential to talk about this. And what we need more from this, to create value to the team. That's important. The fans will create this for us. We need to create this for the fans. To be a fan and to be respected, we need to give them the best conditions. That's the thing that we will try to demonstrate here for you. Fan engagement is more than making sure the services are good. It's mainly about engaging fans, about making sure that they can interact with the team every time they want. It's an evolution from the idea of relationship to the idea of engagement. We need to have the fans, and technology, as said this morning here, so important. The tools of technology are so important on this. I'm just speeding up to reach the World Cup here. Technology now allows fans to be connected with their teams 24 hours a day, creates a lot of contact points, creates a two-way communication, allow the clubs and the national teams to shape fans' behaviors, allow sports organizations to shape their strategy. And then we have a lot of platforms to do this. We'll talk this about during the presentation. Of course, we have just one example here in Brazil that we are using, and this company is doing a lot of business there. It's a friend of us that is doing an exercise to create a relationship with the fans, and the most of the clubs there are doing this. And they are using the data, the intelligence, and the activation to grow this. You know that we identify the fan, centralize all the things in one tool only, then understand the fan, then activate the fans, and then to convert this in money, in more sponsors, more ticketing sales, more things to sell to them. This is important for us. Of course, to aggregate all the tools in only one ID. And we did this in the World Cup also with the hire card. I will talk about this there. Well, during the World Cup, now moving to the World Cup, one of the things that are most important, and I have here Letícia that worked with me on this, spectator service in Brazil, we started to develop this, to treat well the spectators. This is essential to have this spectator returning to the stadium. The fans are our guests during the World Cup. This is essential. They are the face of the tournament. We have the largest team of volunteers receiving them to welcome, to inform, to assist, and to excite the fans that come to the stadiums. And I could compare. In Brazil, we did a nice World Cup. In Russia, it was a nice World Cup. But in Qatar, an amazing World Cup. We did this so well, and Qatar helped us a lot. The host country helped us a lot. They are so good to support this idea. Of course, we have the spectator service in the venues, in the stadiums, only in the stadiums, but we have another clients that we'll talk about later that we need to provide service for them also. In this case here, we have also the transport sector of this, that we need to have metro, now in Qatar, now in Doha. It's excellent metro. It's so nice, it's so important. I went here in 2015 in Qatar 7 times, as I said, and I haven't this. Now we have, this is a legacy for the country, to the country. We have this now there, and then the funds went by metro. We have a tournament bus service. We have, of course, cars, because the locals mainly, and the Saudi also went there. They use their cars to access, and then we need to provide to them, the fans, we need to provide to be assisted during your way. You have restricted item storage. If you come, for example, with a charger, mobile phone charger, the security maybe will not give you authorization to come to the stadium. Then you could go and put your bag or your thing like this in this. Each stadium has this kind of thing there. Pedestrian screening area to make the things easier for the spectators, for the fans, to treat them well, to guide them, the families, the people that has disabilities and so on. Welcoming them, receiving them so well, say, hey, welcome here, you are in a nice environment, we need you, we love you to be here, please come here. And then just a video about this to demonstrate how we did this. Welcoming the people, giving them sweets, giving them karaki, and say, welcome. I participate on this. I love to be there, watching this and participating on this also. And the guys of this, our service, of spectator service, interacting with the fans, this is so important also. This creates an environment, a nice environment. The mobility assistance, if you have a wheelchair guy, you could support him with golf carts. The fun experience area. When you have music, you have things to buy, you have things to eat, you have things to drink, of course no alcohol. And then the stadium has the information about where your ticket is. This is essential. Info points, lost and found. We have an interaction with the Qatar Post to have the lost and found in the stadiums and also in the whole city. And we received a lot of things that we recover. The people are so impressed with our service on this. The operators to receive well the fans in the turnstiles. In the seating area, to say to them, where you sit, where is your seat, you need to respect the seat. If you have another people there, you come there and say, hey, please, you are not here. And you have volunteers to do this. Of course, we need the support of security to do this. Receiving them in the way to the stadium. When they approach the stadium, have a lot of people doing this and saying thank you to come, thank you to be here. This is to create this kind of image. Now we have a video from Brazil just to demonstrate. If you could put the sound, more sound on this, if you could. It's a video called The Fun Experience that FIFA did right after the World Cup in Brazil to show you the importance to treat well the spectators.
Veio aqui no Maracanã desde pequeno, no ombro do meu pai, e eu falava, nossa, para mí é realização de sonho, estar no Maracanã, na Copa do Mundo. Nos hemos sentido muy seguros acá en Brasil, fuimos muy bien recibidos, estamos siendo muy cuidados, está todo muy bien organizado.
Policías cada 20 metros, cada 30 metros veo un oficial bastante bueno, y en las calles también. Nosotros incluso hemos estado a altas horas de la noche caminando, no hemos encontrado ningún problema, no tengo ningún familiar, ningún amigo que nos haya contado, ningún compatriota que nos haya dicho que haya tenido algún problema de seguridad acá en Brasil.
It's been a great experience so far. Brazil is a beautiful country. Infrastructure is amazing.
Hay muchas voluntarias de la FIFA, hay voluntarias de la policía y de todo que ayudan.
I try to go to go ahead because we need to, the presentation will stay with you here, you could see it later. Here we have, but the importance of this is that these guys that went there, they want to return. We are improving our tourism industry in Brazil, and we will do this in Qatar also. I'm saying this because my grandfather is from Lebanon, and I love to be here in the Arab world. And I said, Qatar will grow a lot in tourism because of the World Cup there. The people know now that it's so interesting to go there, to see some things, to be well treated. This is the essential for us, to treat well, and this is the customer experience. We created this, also these kind of things there to give them, the fans, more an experience, more modern, with a lot of LEDs, saying some messages and interacting with the spectators, the branding of the host country, of the city, the branding of the stadium, integrated on this. The LED project was so interesting to create this atmosphere with music in the stadium to say to the guy, I'm going not only in a football match, I'm going to an entertainment event that's so important to return here. The LED project was so interesting. FIFA is responsible for part of this, but the host country was so interested on this and helped us a lot on this. The Stadium Fun experience also in the door of the VIP and VVIP areas. We created a lot of interactions, a lot of things to receive well the spectators, receive well the guests, the important guests that Qatar is invited, that FIFA is invited. We create a lot of options like this. In the door of the stadium, we have this kind of things. I never saw this in any part of the world. In Brazil, we don't have this. It's interesting. The people love it, to be well treated, to be well received with like this. It's an enhancement of this. And the VIP guest experience also. We studied this, and the host country is very interested to have the culture of Qatar and to be very well done, the branding, the organization of this, and the achievements are so good on this. Okay? Also in the city, we have a lot of things there. They interact a lot. The city are so well branded, that's so interesting there. The arrivals and departures at the airport. Airport there is the best airport of the world. That's so nice. And we receive it so well. The players, we have only a terminal for the teams. We have one terminal for the VIP, one terminal for a VVIP, and one terminal for the fans in general. That's so important to receive them well. A lot of branding again to receive in the door of the planes and so on. The transportation for the VVIP, they are so well received. The teams have nice buses with branding, of course. The VVIP hotels, outstanding hotels there to receive these people. They love to return there. Of course, this is so essential to treat well. Of course, we use the FIFA legends also to implement this. The VIP hotels, Qatar invested a lot to implement this kind of things. They spend money on this, but it's interesting. See this. You like to be there. You love to be there. That's so important. The chairs to sit and in the VIP lounge to sit and watch the match is a different one. You have this kind of screens now to say, this is your seat, you could sit here in the VVIP. The food is so interesting. The food there, of course, representing the culture of Qatar, but invest to receive well and to give them good food. So well dressed also, again. Then the hospitality journey, to receive the guys in the hospitality box. A lot of sky boxes, one village, one affiliate village to receive the partners. That's another type of client that we need to treat well, the sponsors. And we have a lot of sky boxes in the hospitality village to receive them. Here we have an example of a skybox that are so well dressed again, so well administrated to have a lot of people receiving them. Just some hospitality pictures for you to show the quality and the enhancement that we have. It's not coming, I think it's the last one. Here we have one centralized approach to receive well the press, the media. The media are so important for us, of course. We receive the media. The media will leave the country talking about our country, Qatar, saying, hey, this is a nice country. We need to receive them well. We need to have the best conditions, the best air conditioning, the best food, the best transportation. We created a system that the buses that are circulating from the MPC, the main press center, to the stadiums, all of them has Wi-Fi on buses. They did an agreement with Ooredoo Qatar. And then we have this level of service, this approach to have the live transmission, of course, in a nice environment. We have this virtual stadium that we have 2 matches per day, that we have some guests from media to watch the match as they are in the stadium, but seated in this virtual stadium there. That's so important also. This make the guys so happy to be there. The media say, hey, this is an outstanding event. We love this. The media shuttle that, as I said, between the stadiums with Wi-Fi and the bus information in an app. I have a lot of things like this. This is so important. The main media center with a lot of things to give service to the press, to the media that are covering the event. They are very happy because we did the best for them. The media survey proved this. They are saying, hey, you did so well. This is my presentation here. Sorry to speed up this, but it's just to say here, we have in sports an opportunity, and Saudi Arabia will receive a lot of sports events in the near future. You know this. But again, the best thing on this is to treat all the customers that are coming to these events. I'm not talking about only the players. I'm talking about the fans. The players in Qatar has a lot of good experience because they are different from Brazil, that they went to, or Brazil and Russia, that they need to travel 4 hours from São Paulo to Manaus to play. In Qatar, they are 30 minutes from the stadium and returning, and then they will rest more. The fans will rest more. Then you need to treat well the fans, you need to treat well the VIP guests, you need to treat well the sponsors that are paying for this, you need to treat well the media that are live transmission and saying good things about your event. And this is the thing that I'm saying here. All these customers must have an extraordinary experience, and we did this, and I'm not talking about me in special because it's not me totally, no. We have a huge team of 1,400 people working, and a lot of Qataris supporting this. A lot of Qataris in the main organization, in the Supreme Committee there, that are so interested, and the host country has the hire card, created the hire card. The hire card is the tool to implement all the funds, for example, don't need to pay transportation. I'm saying to Leticia yesterday and his husband that are living here, that they went to the stadiums by metro and they not pay because it's in the hire card. If you present the hire card is a tool to come to your country, it's a visa, and also it's a free transportation, a lot of discounts, and so on. And all the information of the funds are there. And we know that, we have a lot of Moroccans come to this match. We need to take care. We have the CCTV cameras saying this, and then we need to resolve this, not to create problems for the fans. These are the technology tools that we have to implement, to coordinate all the information regarding the funds, the media, say, hey, the buses, we have a GPS in each bus, the buses of the teams will arrive 5 minutes later. We need to know this and to create solutions for this. This is the way that we treat the customers in Qatar. These are the customer experience that we have there, and I think this will be an example to you here. Of course, you have the experience also in a lot of events that you already did, but you have a lot of events in the near future that you could do so well and to impress the world as Qatar did. Thank you. It's just to very quickly presentation. I'm available to talk if you need any question. Thank you. And sorry for my way to say very quickly and informal way. It's my way. When I worked there in Qatar, my door is always open. The people went there every day. We need to discuss and to solve issues every day. And it was a successful experience because of people. But our systems are important, but I always say, the most important are the people, the professionals that are working there. Thank you.
That was Ricardo Trade, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Ricardo. That was a very enriching session indeed. Almost makes me want to wish that went on for a little more longer. Moving on, we have a presentation on the art and science of data mining in CX, where you will gain insightful ideas on identifying data points within your CX journey. It will showcase how an organization can optimally navigate between non-linear customer journeys and much more. Delivering this talk will be a familiar face to CX Next. That is Mr. Hazem El-Zayed, Chief Experience Officer, MENA, MEMAC Ogilvy. Mr. Hazem has led projects across all areas of digital mix, including web platforms, mobile solutions, social media, content, performance marketing, search engine optimization, and marketing, paid digital advertising, and programmatic, data and analytics, CRM, and e-commerce, making him not only an advocate, but also a hands-on practitioner of omni-channel marketing. Let's please welcome him on with a huge round of applause. Over to you, Mr. Hazem.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you very much for the welcome. So we're going to talk about data mining, whatever that means to anybody. I think these terms sort of come with very different variants of definitions. But the art and science of it is actually quite an interesting way of putting it, because if you think of it from where I come from, as in sort of the advertising agency world, is there's the science behind it, so the thinking and the strategy and the technology these days and what have you. The art is potentially the creative side of things, right? So we can marry these two together. So I'm going to start with something that might be familiar to a lot of us, but let's have a look.
Target's been neutralized. I'm headed to the hotel. Checking into the house. The name's Hunter.
Certainly, Mr. Hunter, I have your reservation here. Wait, did you say Hunter?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't have a Hunter.
But you emailed the confirmation to my watch.
Well, marketing handles emails. Oh, I have a Hanson.
No, it's Hunter. I picked my room on your app.
Oh, there's so many apps in.
But I'm a platinum member. And I have a promotion. From your website.
Promotions are on a different system, but I do have a single on the ground floor as a Hanson.
It's Hunter. My name is Hunter.
Sounds familiar, probably. We've all been there and so on. It says Adobe at the end. I don't work for Adobe. I don't sell Adobe. If Adobe makes money, I don't make money. Just disclaimer, it's their content, that's all. Okay, so what does this really mean? It means something that we're all familiar with, right? So customers experience brands across several channels, right? So they go online, they go to the store, they call the call center, social media, whatever it is. And essentially, this is what it looks like, right? So they're actually bouncing across all of these different places, all of these different channels. Somebody's got to make heads and tails out of all of this. Now, the last 3 years have been phenomenal. Obviously, we all know this very well. They've changed the face of the world in very different ways. So the pandemic drove between 7 and 10 years leap in digital transformation. Anybody and everybody who was not thinking about it has done something in the world of digital. Share of customer interaction has grown from 20% in 2019 to about 60% plus in 2022. And the industry has committed to a cookieless future. If anybody in this room knows exactly when that's happening, please tell me. But we know it's coming at some point in time, right? So what does that really meant further from a customer perspective? It meant that the customer now has more power than ever to decide when and how and where they want to interact with brands. They want to talk to you on their terms. They're not interested in a sort of one-size-fits-all, you come to me sort of thing, I'm going to decide. Which leads to the fact that brands must really matter to every single individual consumer. We're all unique, we all have different things that motivate us, etc., etc. There's 4 things post-pandemic, that we believe are hitting the world basically these days. Place, pace, purpose, and privacy. And these basically break down as follows, right? Place means, again, where do we have the conversations? Multiple locations, multiple platforms, multiple devices, it's all happening at once. The other thing is we're no longer limited by offline channels. So even email and SMS are seen as offline channels. People want things to happen real time. Near time is not close enough anymore. It has to be instant. It has to happen right now. Pace is the number of, again, channels and touch points that we engage with. So the path to purchase ranges from 20 points in buying a candy bar, a chocolate bar, all the way to 500 when you're buying a flight ticket. Take that across different industries, different things that you're buying online, the numbers obviously will vary. 90% of customers expect their interactions be consistent across the channels. So again, this guy checking into the hotel, oh, the app does this, somebody else does that, etc., etc. I'm talking to one brand. You can't give me that disconnected experience as a consumer. And near time, we've already said that near time simply isn't timely enough to meet expectations. People need things to happen right there and right then. Purpose is all about the emotional connection, right? So in order for a brand to remain top of mind, for drive brand awareness, brand love, brand sentiment, all of these things, we need to create greater emotional connection with brands, ones that actually generate real relationships and not just transactional relationships. Think of it across everybody in the room, myself included, obviously. We all have these one-off transactional relationships with a brand somewhere because they had a great offer. You don't want to be the offer brand. You want to be the brand that customers come to because of the great experience, the relevance, the emotional connection, etc., etc. And then privacy is all about, okay, we need to do all of this. It's all about data. We need to be able to make our customers comfortable about handing over that data. So they need to know, what are you actually going to do with that data, and feel like they're being respected and valued. So it's not just about collecting first-party data, but about how it's actually leveraged and nurtured. So what do we conclude from all of this? Well, again, first-party data, super important. The cookie-less future is upon us, etc., etc., etc. First-party data is the cleanest, let's call it that, best data that you're going to be able to connect from customers. And where do we notice how brands actually leverage first-party data well, or what distinguishes one from another, is the level of personalization that you see in customer communications or in the experiences. So this is what I like to call the personalization maturity curve. And there's everything and sort of the difference between no marketing mass personalization at the bottom, which probably fits most brands in most parts of the world, all the way to predictive personalization. And like I said, most brands tend to sit somewhere sort of in the middle of this. I have very strong opinions about, even with all due respect in the world to the Amazons of the world, the Netflixes of the world, many of the brands that sort of brought personalization to our lives. Really stop and ask yourself about it and look at what they're sending it to you. Is it really that relevant? Not all the time. No disrespect whatsoever to anybody. So what does it really mean? Some of it is self-evident and straightforward. Mass marketing is no personalization, is one size fits all. Let's tell all our customers we're on sale, irrelevant of who they are, where they live, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Segment-based is a little bit more one-to-many, right? So let's talk to females of a certain age category, tell them about certain products that we believe that they're interested in. Customer and behavior personalization is a bit more sort of further segmented. So we're a bit more advanced in product experimentation, and we retarget on the basis of certain tactics like deep linking and so on. And then predictive personalization is all about leveraging more technology, machine learning and artificial intelligence to really figure out what's the next best thing to put in front of somebody, and almost tell them what they're looking for before they show us any signs that they're looking for it. So what does all of this mean? For me, it means these four things, right? It's time to move relationships beyond just the inbox. So let's not just think about email and SMS. The experiences are happening across so many different channels. We can't just think of these two. And it doesn't work in every market. Some markets cultures are so much dependent on email, others much more on WhatsApp and what have you, and so on and so forth. Brands need to orchestrate personal and engaging interactions in real time across channels. So again, so many different channels, so many different paths to purchase, so many different communications going out. It needs to be seamless, it needs to be connected. Purpose creates a strong, enduring mental connection. So again, that's the whole brand connection, emotional connection, a bit of it. And the customer needs to not just be known, they need to be respected and valued. So we're really moving away from customers don't want to be managed anymore. This whole idea of relationship management is becoming a bit irrelevant. Customers don't want to be managed. They want to actually co-design the relationship together with the brand so that it happens a bit more on their term. We like to call it relationship design as opposed to relationship management. So what happens in relationship design? It's actually built across four angles: brand, customer, business, and technology. And it's all orchestrated with data. The essential message, or the essential thing we're trying to do all the time, is we're trying to deliver the right message to the right person at the right time, at the right place, on the right device, on the right channel. You can keep on going and going and going across every single step of the journey. So this is not about bottom of the funnel to convert a sale. This is all the way from brand awareness and consistency to drive retention and so on. All of this, essentially, at the end of the day, we've got to say this because we are at a CX conference, obviously, at the end of the day, but all of this influences one key premise: customer experience, right? Which is the only reason customers actually come back and do business with the brand. If they're having a positive experience, they're not going to go elsewhere. If they're actually making decisions on doing business with the brand, customer experiences rises to the top, because That's what the data says. 89% of companies are competing on the basis of customer experience. This is up from 36% in 2010. But the worrying thing is the second half of this, and this is according to Gartner. 80% of companies believe they deliver superior experiences, but only 8% of customers agree. And that's a staggering difference. That's a very, very worrying difference. So how do we deliver great experiences? It sounds a bit simple. It's not rocket science, let's face it. But we need to make consumers more valuable to brands. We need to make brands more valuable to consumers. It's a sort of a two-way mutual agreement. So how do we do that? We, again, need to create exceptional experiences, but we need to also create emotional connections. So when you create an emotional bond between customer and brand, there's significant amounts of success. What are they, or what do they look like? Actually, oops, sorry. Oh no, how do I go back? Oh, there we go, sorry. So brands that actually create an emotional connection with customers go profit 2 times faster and revenue 2.5 times faster. So this is data and statistics that actually exist. The unique emotional connection that you can establish with customers is actually built across 4 angles or 4 pillars. The brand, obviously, the brand experience itself, and creating a unique brand experience for your customers. The customer, understanding the customer, getting the data about the customer, enriching everything that you do with real human behavioral understanding. Technology is the enabler, it's not the driver, okay? Don't put the technology in the beginning of the decision-making process when you're trying to deliver the experience. Figure out the experience, then go out and find the technology to deliver on it. The other way around confines you to certain things. And then business at the end of the day, because you've got shareholders, you're gonna have to justify what you've done. So we've got to show business value, we've got to show return on investment. We combine these 4 together and the impact is multiplied. So, what do we actually do in terms of building brand experiences? Some of this is not rocket science and it's absolutely known to everybody in this room. We build personas, we build journeys, we understand who the audience is, we try to deliver experiences accordingly. But like we said, the journey is not linear anymore, right? So people hop from different devices, different channels, online, offline, call the call center, go to social media. How do we keep track of that journey? How do we build a consistent journey and deliver to it if that's what's actually happening in real life? You need to, again, look for the data, look for the signs. Compounded with all of this is new rules, right? We've moved from media scarcity and attention abundance to the opposite, media abundance and attention scarcity. People don't have time anymore. If you don't tell me something that's relevant to me, I'm not going to listen to you. It's as simple as that. And this gentleman here confirms this information. So this gentleman, this is the CEO of Nestle. He's speaking back in 2017. So this is about 6-7 years old, right? And he's talking at an investor relations event. He's not talking to marketers. He's not talking to sales. He's not talking to any of these people. He's talking to people that go out and advise other people on buying stock in the company. And he's saying the company is growing and the stock price is performing because of what he's about to say now, which is super relevant, particularly in a pressured economy.
When it comes to communication, this is the first time in history where at scale, you can really have a one-to-one communication, two-way street with a consumer. The old model of what I call push advertising, where you develop a product and content, you then try to select media that roughly hit that consumer, and then you hope the message arrives and that consumer will act in a certain way. That model is fading fast. What you can do these days, once you have a consumer's phone number or email address, you can really target specifically to the needs of that person. You can have, at scale, in an automated yet personal way, a conversation, and you have a much, much better hit rate than any time before. And so
He's talking about phones and emails. Obviously, there's tons of more data that we can collect. And there's a number of brands that have demonstrated that already. I've mentioned that I have some personal points of views on some of them, but that does not discount the fact that they actually do a very good job at doing a lot of this personalization and data-driven stuff, and hence they've raised the expectations, okay? And the reason this is important is because you could be sitting in the room today and say, yeah, but I don't compete with Uber or with Amazon. That's not true. You don't compete with the with other brands in your same sector. You compete with anybody that sets a good experience and that sets the expectation. So people want a seamless experience like Uber, whether you're a bank or whether you're a carpooling service or whatever it may be. And that's confirmed here by this lady from IBM. So again, this confirms what I'm saying. The last best experience anyone has becomes the minimal expectation for an experience they want to see anywhere. I walk into my bank, I want them to be like my telco. I go to my telco, I want them to be like my airline. Not because they compete, because of the experience itself. And this data, again, from BCG actually confirms that. So this is about banking. No, again, not picking on any bankers in the room if there's any, but this is about people talking about banking and wanting their bank to behave more like Amazon, like a personal shopper, like a supermarket, like their gym. Who would have thought that the bank should be thinking about the experience that a gym delivers to see how they should serve their customers? But that's the reality. Okay, and talking about banks, sorry. Okay, there we go. So talking about banks, here's the other very good example.
Let's do this! Everybody on the ground, into the line! Don't move! Hey! Get down and stay down! Don't move! The money! Open the floor!
Mr. Johnson? Eric Johnson?
How did she know your name? I don't know.
Your mobile app pinged us when you walked in. Looks like you were on our website and thinking about buying a house.
Moving out? I need my space.
Eric, you may think you can't afford a new home, but we have some amazing new rents. I can text them to you.
Oh, those are fantastic.
And Mr. Davis?
Yeah, it's me.
Did you click on one of our emails about consolidating your student loans?
Maybe. Hey, what's the matter with you?
We can help you with that too.
Hey, what are you doing? Let's surround him, remember? We gotta go! Come on! Can I lock those rates in on your app?
Well, of course you can, sugar.
They just do really good content. It's not my fault. It's also from Adobe. It's not my fault. Okay, so I'm running out of time, or I probably ran out of time already, but I'm just going to really whiz through. So this is very important. How do we operationalize the data? How do we actually pull the data together? So it's across three things, three buckets: prioritization, personalization, or precision. Prioritization is the who. Who are we talking to? Personalization is about the how and the what. What's the message? What's the offer? What's the tonality? And so on. And precision is about the when and the where. When's the right time to say something to somebody? And again, where should we say it? So, how do we do this for Accor specifically? I don't know if there's anybody from the group in the room, but this is something that we did for the group of the Accor group of hotels. And the very quick brief was: people are loyal to us. They stay with us when they go to, say, London. I go to London every week and I stay at the same Novotel or what have you. But when somebody doesn't find their favorite hotel, they go to the next hotel, which might not be an Accor hotel. So we're losing out, and the customer's losing out from a loyalty perspective. So they said, we understand that what we need to do is we need to talk to customers about what they need. So this guy goes to London, this guy goes to Rome, this guy goes to this guy goes to an expensive hotel, cheap hotel, et cetera, et cetera. But we don't have data. And we said, hang on, what are you talking about? You know how often people travel, where they travel to. Do they stay in the city, on the outskirts, expensive hotels, cheap hotels? Do they eat at the restaurant or outside the hotel, go to the gym, go to the spa, consume minibar, the whole 9 yards? What are you talking about? So what we ended up doing is, I'm just moving on a little bit, what we ended up doing is we ended up triggering a welcome back home email to everybody who just stayed at an Accor hotel. So it was triggered by a hotel stay, 2 days since the last experience, and it was driven on personalization on where did they stay, how long they stayed, all that sort of stuff, which looked something like that. If you ever need a different hotel in London, here are 3 other hotels that are relevant to you if you don't find the one that you're looking for, and here's a voucher to consume a drink at the bar or what have you if you need it. And then just by varying the data points, you could construct 100,000 variants of that email if you wanted by varying all the data. Location, my tier in the membership program, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Right? We did something similar for Starbucks. Again, so Starbucks is one of those brands where typically you go to the same store every day on the way to work, buy the same coffee, maybe at lunchtime go back and have another coffee or a juice or salad or what have you. You know, and again, you earn stars, you burn them, da-da-da-da-da-da. So they wanted people to, again, use their well-earned loyalty points. So again, we started generating relevant messages to different audiences based on behavior. Which store do you go to? What do you actually drink? Cold drinks, soft drinks, warm drinks, coffee, juice. Do you eat? Do you not eat? All that sort of stuff. So essentially, what we end up with in all of these situations is a big asset library of content, right? Beautiful product charts, dates on which products promotions are valid, stars that you can earn and burn, all that sort of stuff sits in an asset library, and then you have an algorithm at the back of it that says when somebody meets a certain criteria, pull these pieces together, these content pieces together, send it out in an email. Does it have to be an email? It certainly doesn't. Could be an email, could be content on a website or an app, it could be a push notification, a WhatsApp message, an SMS, whatever you want, a social media post, whatever you want it to be. And the impact becomes humongous. So we got 11% increase in interaction rates, 10% increase in email open rates, 30% increase in go-to-market. And this is very important. I work for an agency. I get clients that call me and say, need to launch a campaign tomorrow. I mean, it doesn't always work that way, but some of this stuff can actually work. And last but not least, a very quick, another one, but this is one of my favorite ones. So this is something we did for a very big retailer in the GCC, apologies, name withheld for confidentiality. But what we do for them is sort of along two lines. One is we're looking at the totality of the customer experience. We're looking at everything that happens from the shopper's perspective, from the customer's perspective, from the moment you decide that you're going to the store, to parking, to getting in, to finding your way around the store, everything. And there's a big online component and an e-commerce component to it. So we're connecting all sorts of data. Customer data, sales data, subscription data, location data, history, purchase history, family size, you name it, whatever it is. And we're connecting the dots together to make a much more seamless experience between online, offline, in-store, etc., etc. There's a very long strategic exercise that then gets compounded with technology to deliver and so on and so forth. So in true fashion, the client came to us in the middle of the conversation and said, when do we see results? And we said, you don't. That's a strategy exercise. There's no results here. And they said, but can we see something? And we said, okay, you know what? Let's do a pilot. Let's test this out and demonstrate to you that data-driven marketing and personalization deliver results. So don't worry about the fine print. These are just variants of content. These are the algorithms that we went through in order to drive some sort of automation. So we send you an email with relevant content on products that are on sale. 2 days later, if you don't open it, we do this. 3 days later, we do that, etc., etc. We bounce you from email into social media and back to drive conversions. And this was the results. And this is real data from an actual client. So we spent 35,000 dirhams in paid media. We generated sales of over 8 million dirhams. So we're not just talking about better open rates and better interaction rates and stuff like that. We're talking about media efficiency. If there's any media planners or buyers in the rooms, don't hate me, but this is true. Actually, customers love you more because your media money is working even harder for them. This is real data, real money, actual stuff that happened on the ground. So there's so much to win, nothing to lose. There's a ton of data out there that demonstrates that this works. So this is just some examples of some of the data that if you Google, you'll find hundreds of it. And there's hundreds of, let's not worry about this guy. I mean, it's true. There's a lot of companies that have sort of washed off because of the fact that they could not adopt and move on. And there's hundreds of questions that data helps you answer. These are some of the examples of it. I apologize, I've really run over time. Thank you very, very much.